Saturday, and then just these incredible people from other organizations and backgrounds. I mean, we have 5 out of the 8 Ivy Leagues represented.
Wow.
And we have people from Native Americans, Native Navajo, Muslim, ex-Muslim, similar to the work that we're doing, a founder, from somebody from the ultra-Orthodox Jewish, who escaped or left that and is now going to school and doing all these amazing, research studies, and people who are dissatisfied with the Mennonite church as well. So there's this, and conservative Muslim, even people who still identify, are practicing conservative, but they have an audience, they want to engage with us. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So could you tell me more about that event? So when is it happening? Where is it happening? What kind of people would you like to attend?
Everybody who's listening to this should come. Yeah. So it's happening. The conference is called Disrupting History, Reclaiming Our Amish Story. And it's exactly that. We're disrupting history. We're taking back our narrative. And it's happening September 28 and 29, which is in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Franklin and Marshall College. And it's half academic and half TED Talk-esque. So our audience is, some of them are going to be there because they're interested in it from an academic perspective, and others are interested in it from an entrepreneurial, social justice kind of, perspective. Mm-hmm. And I formatted it according to sort of like the TED Talks, because I want us to be able to go and publish it on YouTube and have people be able to get the main points without having to go through piles and piles of academic language and boring shit to figure out what's being said.
I getcha. Yeah, sometimes academic conferences are great, but you're right. Oftentimes you have to get through the academic language to understand what is going on in it.
Yeah. So it's not your typical academic conference. It's geared towards millennials, entrepreneurs who want to do good in the world and who are aware of the power we have when we empower ourselves. And the message is really just, about being the change that we want to see in the world.
Oh, yeah, that's great. What's the website then for more information?
AmishHeritage.org. AMISH Heritage HERITAGE.org. Or just Google my name and you'll find it.
Sure. So with everything that you've done and your story, the idea of overcoming fear comes up. How those times when you find fear, how do you work past it? Are there strategies you come up with, or is it just necessity, or how do you deal with fear these days?
Well, good question. I'll talk about the fear when I was a kid thinking about leaving or escaping. And that was not so much, fear isn't the right word, but desperation. It was literally, I need to figure out a way to escape or I will die. And that is a different kind of, feeling. Mm-hmm. It's just desperate to survive versus like it kind of overrides your generic fear. And today, in terms of how do I overcome fear, I feel like I'm just such an embattled veteran of challenges and impossibles that it's not really such a big deal. But this is on the heels of 22 years of doing everything that I wasn't supposed to be doing and that shouldn't have happened. So it's a little hard to talk about it now. That's not to say that I don't experience these fears. For example, this conference, I have nights when I'm awake at night and I'm wondering how the fuck am I going to sell enough tickets or make sure this gets gets done and it's a success. I mean, I have those moments, and but I feel it's sort of the thing that's important to keep in mind, maybe for anyone who's listening, is that you have to listen to your gut, your instinct. If your heart, instinct, gut, however you want to say it, if that is what's being said to you, is from that space, stick with it. And just keep your eye on that, and things will somehow come to pass. And it doesn't mean that it's not going to come without challenges. It doesn't mean that it's not going to come without freaking out in the middle of the night. Oh, fuck, what have I done? But you have to believe in yourself. You have to have this blind, irrational belief in yourself.
Mm-hmm. So in your journey so far, what would you say has been the best investment you've ever made?
Investing in myself.
No, that's good. Is there? I know, because I know you've spoken highly of going to Columbia, but are there other ways that you have? I mean, beyond, I guess, like reading and education, like has that been what you mean by investing in yourself in this, or are there other aspects of that as well?
Yes, all of it, and definitely. So I spent a shitload going to Columbia University, and then I spent more than a shitload after that. Because then I had to deal with all my childhood traumas and all the beliefs that I had grown up with that were not helping me at all, that were actually harming me. And you don't learn that in an academic setting. No. You don't learn that at Columbia University. You are taught how to be an excellent academic. You're not taught how to address your own shit and get beyond that. And you're also not taught entrepreneurship. That's not what the academic system is about. Mm-hmm. So I have invested in both, and it took a lot of hard work. And learning how to value myself was really the most important thing. To value myself and love myself was the hardest thing for me to learn. Mm-hmm. And going to an Ivy League school and escaping at age 15 did not teach me how to love myself or value myself. I didn't learn that until after I graduated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So on the entrepreneurship side, are there books that helped the most, or were there like courses that you took?
Yes. So one of the earliest books, the first books I read that helped me the most in the entrepreneur space was Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi, I think is how you pronounce this last. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that that really sort of started percolating in my brain. I read that when I was still a student at Columbia, but it didn't really go anywhere until after I graduated. And then when Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Workweek, came out, that became my Bible. I felt for the first time that somebody understood what I was going through, that spoke the same language that I spoke. So that really was like, oh wow, there's a set of people in the world who have these wild, crazy, weird ways of viewing the world, who also happen to come from academia, Ivy League caliber types of backgrounds. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I found some really good mentors, amazing mentors. I managed to somehow learn how to pick the right mentors. And I just want to say to anyone listening is the entrepreneur space, the self-help, personal development, I mean, it's a free-for-all just like anything else. You have to learn how to trust the right people, how to discern. So you pick the right people that are able to help you. And I, figured out finally after putting a lot of money in the wrong places, how to find someone who could help me. And now I'm part of a really amazing entrepreneur circle that I feel so privileged to be a part of. Is really just incredible people. So, yeah.
Oh, wonderful. What would you say has been the best advice you've ever received?
Ooh, best advice I ever received. Yeah, that's like, I don't think I've ever really thought about that. It was more a feeling, the messaging that I got from childhood onwards through reading books about you don't have to depend on adults or anyone else to do what you want to do. So the books, so I don't have some pithy line or whatever that I can throw out. The books that I read from age 6 onwards when I learned English, the children, the characters of the children, the authors were very child empowering. And lots of the stories were about children who came from abusive backgrounds, who didn't have parents who loved them or supported them, and the children struck out on their own and provided for themselves. And that's the message that I got, was that you don't have to depend on adults to do what you need to do in life for yourself. And that comes with a double-edged sword, because it can go to the extreme of where you don't trust anyone, which is where I went for most of my life. I didn't learn how to truly trust until I was in, around 29 onwards. So. Yeah.
Oh, sure. Torah, thank you so much for taking the time today to chat with me. This has been absolutely amazing. If the listeners would want to see more about what you're working on and listen to more of what you're working on, where does the best place they can go to find that?
Go to www.amishheritage.org, and you can find me everywhere through that. Or go online, find me, Torah Bontrager on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Google my name. You don't even have to go to a website.
Awesome. I will put some of those links in the show notes so they can also click through, in addition to just Googling your name. Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much. You've been more than generous with your time, Torah. Thank you again.
For sure. Thank you so much, too.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Advance Your Art podcast. If you like this episode, please go into iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. And while you're there, hit the subscribe button so that every single time I release a new episode, it will go directly to you without even thinking about it. If you're interested in hearing older episodes, please go to advanceyourart.com, where you can find the catalog of everything I've done so far, as well as contact information and projects I'm working on. Thank you again, and have a great day.